All right, boys and girls, we're going to have a look at charge today. And it's not quite as straightforward as what I was hoping it to be. And we did run into a few issues. But we're going to go through the numbers from 3 tests. I did a total of 8, but we'll just go over 3. And then at the end, don't worry if these numbers don't make a whole lot of sense to you. At the end, we'll kind of recap and I'll give you my kind of verdict and my thoughts on the charge trait. So for those that don't know, combustion passive got buffed last patch, so now it gives 1,000 resources, so 1,000 magic whenever you proc burning and 1,000 stamina whenever you proc, and this can happen every 0.5 of a second. In combination with that, charged also got buffed last patch too, hence why we're here looking at these combinations. The first issue we ran into was after an hour and a half testing. Basically what I was doing 5-minute passes with a Nern weapon, then a 5-minute pass with a charged weapon, and then with combat metrics, I was getting the combined ticks that burning and poison tick for, and then I was going to just divide it burning by 3 and poison by 4, but poisoned ticks 3 or 4 times. It's kind of weird. I don't understand it. The way you read the tooltip, it kind of sounds like it should tick 3 times, but I always thought it was 4, and in testing it seemed to do both. So I think when it procs, sometimes it doesn't do that initial damage or the initial tick, so that's why sometimes it's 3 and sometimes it's 4. Now what we did to kind of combat this was we divided it by 3.5. We met it in the middle. Now we're more worried about the percentage difference and seeing how the difference is between charged and Nern on instead of the exact recovery number that we're going to get. We're going to get into test 2, and with poisoned on Nern, we had 244 ticks with a 7.3% uptime, and this resulted in a 236 recovery. With charged, we had 186 ticks with an uptime of 9.7, which resulted in a recovery number of 354. So as I mentioned in our Bloodspawn testing video that I posted earlier today, if you haven't seen that, it's worth a check out, especially if you're interested in DK. Obviously broke this down into recovery numbers. Realistically, that's not how this is working. It's giving you 1,000 stam every time this happens. If I say you're getting 5,000 stam back every minute, that's a lot harder for you to kind of comprehend in your head. So we've broke it down into a number that everyone kind of understands and everyone can relate to. That's why we're giving it a recovery number. The second funny weird thing that we found was obviously the difference is with poison between Nern and charge was noticeable. The massive difference was with our off stat, which is burning. So we've only got one skill, our whip, that procs burning, and also our leap can proc burning as well. We're ulting every minute, but we noticed a huge difference between Nern and charge with burning, and this was consistent. I thought it might have been an outlier. This test, it was higher, but in all the other tests, it was extremely higher than what the difference between the poisoned status effect was at burning. In the first test, there was 132% difference between charged and Nern with the burning status effect. So this resulted in a 274 recovery difference, with charged giving you 342 magic recovery, the non-charged giving you 68 magic recovery. So a massive difference there. And with the stam, we had 236 stam recovery with the Nern and 354 stam recovery with the charged, with a difference of 108 recovery. Now, if these numbers kind of going over your head, that's all right. We'll recap at the end of this and I'll give you a kind of verdict for those that just want an answer. But let's have a look at test 2. Have with poison Nern, 142 ticks with a 7.7% uptime, resulting in a recovery, stam recovery of 270. And our charged was 199 ticks with a 10% uptime, with a stam recovery number of 379. Overall difference of 109 stam recovery difference and a 33% difference between the two of them. Now, once again, our burning status effect showed a way bigger difference of 100%. and a recovery difference of 242 mag recovery. Our Nern burning gave 120 and our charge gave a whopping 362. I think this has just got a lot to do with the fact that we've got 3 to 4 ways of proccing poison, and we only have one way of proccing burning, and well, one consistent way of proccing burning. So that's why we're seeing charge kind of boost it so much compared to poison status effect. So in test 4, we had 2 adds. So we should see an increase here because obviously we've got our AoE damage that's going to give more higher chance of proccing. And we did see that. So with Nern, we sent 160 hits with an uptime of 6.9%, resulting in a recovery of 304. And then the charge with 294 hits and a resulting recovery of 560 stam recovery. So a pretty big number there. And then that was a difference of 256 recovery at a percentage difference of 59. Then with our burning, we've seen 60 hits with the Nern, resulting in 133 recovery. And then with our charged 143 hits, resulting in a recovery of 317 mag recovery, with a difference of 81% and a recovery difference of 184. So that's a lot of numbers and probably gone over a lot of people's heads. All right, so let's break this down and make it a little bit more simple for you guys. So in the single target testing, you're looking at about a 33 to a 40% difference between Nern and charged. So what that kind of breaks down to as far as recovery, you're looking at 120, 110-ish stam recovery and about 250 mag recovery. So if you're to run charged over Nern, that's kind of what you're expecting to get in that scenario. But obviously that steps up quite a bit when you go up to this 2 target testing, where you're looking at more like a combined total of 450 recovery difference, with about 250 stam recovery, 184 mag recovery increase. So my takeaway from this is basically, I don't think charged is going to necessarily be worth it on mag DK, where you can't kind of utilize poison status effect and get that off stat. Also, the increased damage with the increased uptime on poison status effect and burning status effect is something that you should consider too when you're weighing these two up. Also, on Stam DK, where you're not running whip, I think charged isn't quite good enough. Now, it could be worth it on a back bar weapon, but on a front bar weapon in those 2 scenarios, I don't think it's worth running. On my Stam DK build, where I am utilizing whip and I've got that uptime on the burning status effect as well as the poison status effect, I think this could be very solid and very strong. Now, in my real world testing from charge to Nern, I didn't notice an overly massive decrease in my stam recovery, but I did notice quite a massive decrease in my mag recovery when I changed to Nern, and that's reflected in our testing. So you've got all the numbers there and all the testing. Decide for yourself whether it's worth it for you or not. And let me know in the comment section if you have any questions. Feel free to join my streams and ask any questions at any point. I'm happy to, take the time to help you guys out. And this took a lot of time, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Also, if you haven't seen the Stam DK build, that is on my YouTube, and I'll link it in the description. And one more shameless plug. I'm doing a 24-hour stream on Friday, so feel free to stop by and watch my pain and suffering as I play ESO for 24 hours. Anyway, boys and girls, I love yous all as usual. I'll catch you in the next one.